Hi. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Violet. Hi, sweetie. Jenna Henry. So great to see you guys. Thanks for being here, everybody. All right. So I am delighted to be back. Sorry, I was helping somebody move on Friday and, on Thursday and Friday. And so I didn't get to see anybody on Friday, on Thursday night or at all on Friday. But I am back and a little bruised, a little sore, but delighted to hang out with you guys. So let's get caught up. We need to get into our today's topics. So I know the 7th, of course, is over. The 8th is mostly over today. And the 9th is tomorrow, but we're going to do all three of those right now. So we're going to do just a quick little message for what was the big takeaway from yesterday, what is the big takeaway from today, and what's the upcoming energy for the 9th. Also, just FYI, guys, these are the ones where I do leave on the comments. Let me make sure they're set. And if you want to type the word compassion in the comment section, that'll be available once I'm done doing this live. Writing the word compassion in the comments gets you entered to win for Monday. Every Monday, I do a random winner and do a storytelling for them. But in addition to that, once a week, each week from now until January, I will be going live for about 30 minutes or so, 30, 35, 40, somewhere in there on both channels. That is actually going to happen tonight on both channels. So just FYI, if you guys are going to be up late tonight, keep your notification bells on. I will also be putting out zodiac videos. So it's going to be kind of a bit of a busy little night. So if you guys are kicking it, hanging out, then awesome. I will see you several times throughout the evening, I'm sure. All right. So the message for the 7th. Here we go. It was the World and the Ten of Swords. Terrific, actually. Yesterday could have been pretty momentous for somebody. They could have ended up recognizing that it's time to feel lighter and brighter. It's time to leave something behind. Maybe it is time to move, to, reset something in life. Symbolically or energetically speaking, I mean, this could have been the carryover from the full moon energy that we've had, but definitely ending a painful cycle so that we can start to have, like a better dream. There is like a home environment going on. So I don't know if someone really started to love the change that they've made in their life, or they started to sage their house and make it feel like theirs again. But this is a very positive turn of events after a very negative and extended amount of negativity. So really nice to see. 11:08. Oh my God, you're too adorable. Anyone who doesn't know what that comment means, I have a Zoltar. I'm an 80s kid, so the movie Big was a big deal. But I have a big Zoltar who needs batteries, and I have a little Zoltar who doesn't need batteries. But and 11:08, you're too cute. It's a battery fund for Zoltar. Thank you, my love. That is adorable. And maybe that works into this. Maybe somebody decided to look at building their own future. Maybe they repowered up or batteried up their future so that they can go ahead and, start to have the life that they really want. Maybe this is somebody taking charge. I mean, personally, yes, I love Zoltar. Yes, I love all things, kind of in that mystical realm. Although I personally am not a psychic. I wish I had that gift, but I don't. Instead, I look at it as we get to decide what our future will be, but it is fun to contemplate all the different pathways we could take. And I think that makes us more mindful of what actions we really want to take and why we choose the things in life that we do, or why we subconsciously choose the things that we want to choose. But I think this is a character who's like, I am all about seeing my future and seeing it better than what it was. So yesterday was a powerful day, possibly for a feminine, possibly for a Capricorn. Doesn't have to be. This could be a Capricorn feminine, though, decided to let go of either a future that they wished they could have had with a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Look, this just feels like somebody punctured a hole in something and let the air out of the balloon, or the water mattress, the water bed. God, I hope not. Something sprung a leak, though, and it deflated, but it was deflating for a long time in reality. Sorry, I just spit. And instead of being sad about it, they were like, you know what? All right, I got to clean up the mess and throw away this now no longer functional waterbed or whatever it was. I mean, obviously it was more like a relationship that sprung a leak for quite some time. And it was the deflating of the hopes that were painful, but our character is over it now. So yesterday was a great day. They started to actually not look at what hurt, but look at what they wanted instead. And hang on, I just tried to merge two decks completely. Sorry, I tried to put those in the wrong deck. All right, so that's a message for the 7th. Turns out it was a good day to let something go. Now, since I really want to use this deck, let's look at a message for the 8th. The 8th being today, at least in the time zone that I'm in. Let's see, what do we have? We have a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. We've got the High Priestess, the Tower, and the 3 of Swords. Okay, so I don't intend for these messages to have anything in common, but I will say this. It looks like we've got possibly either a divine masculine who is saying, I'm trying to let go of the fact that a Queen of Pentacles really doesn't like me. Maybe this was my karmic, or maybe this is somebody that I've been wounded over for a really long time. But then it's weird because he's like having this this shift in his mind that says, unless what if she was every bit as wounded by what happened as I was? I've been thinking she hated me. And it really bothered me for the longest time. But what if she's sitting around thinking I hate her? Why are they standing here both, in front of this tower? I'm wondering if she possibly had already contemplated that, but on the 8th, this is him having this breakthrough. Anytime we get 10s and we get a major arcana like a tower, we know that we're going to have a change in thought process because we've thunk to the end of a situation. We can think no more about that. We've reached the end and we've said, this is really painful. This is awful. This is awful. She hates me. Maybe he was even mad at her. She was my karmic. She wanted this from me. She wouldn't give me that, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's like, I can't keep feeling this way. I'm done feeling this way. I have to stop feeling this way. And that's where real, like when we stop just feeling a huge flood of emotions about something and we pause, kind of like when you've cried all your tears out and then you're just tired. And then sometimes that's where you kind of feel the catharsis of, okay, that's out of my system, out of my soul. And now rational thought can come back in. Only in this case, it's more like, it's not just rational thought. It's, oh my God, this epiphany moment. What if all the time I've been mad at her, hurt by her? What if she's been feeling just as much pain? So what is it that's making, I'm going to say making him, even though please remember it could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles. I don't read for genders. But what is it that's making him feel that way? The moon is in the reverse. The 10 of Cups is upright. Does that have to do with the full moon, didn't it? It is an epiphany, and it did come with, like, finally the subconscious brought something to the surface. It's almost like, but wait a minute, I realized once upon a time, she really wanted to be with me. She loved me. She did stand beside me. She wanted to give me everything. This Queen of Pentacles showed me that she loved me once upon a time. So all this time I've been pissed, I've been hurt, I've been upset, I've been carrying all of this, thinking she hates me, but I know better. She didn't hate me. She wanted to have everything with me. She saw a future with me. She was floating on air just like I was. It's like he had forgotten that for a period of time, and that's coming back in and saying, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. 5 of Cups and the Magician. He's also aware, and then I did see her get really sad. I know that she cried. I wonder if this is just one of those situations where I do feel like it's really relatable, no matter what someone is actually showing to us. They're showing us that they're hurt, that they're sad. But if we're upset with them as well, we ignore all of how they're actually showing us their emotions. And instead we're so upset that we're blinded to their behavior. So we can only see it from our own emotional state. And I think that's kind of what was going on, because it's like on the 8th, there's this, he's reached the end of the road for how either upset he was about this. And that's where rational thoughts coming in. And it's like, oh my God, but the thing I've failed to remember all this time is that she really wanted to be with me and I really wanted to be with her. And for a minute in time anyway, we were so happy. We were so good together. And then I remember she was really, really, really sad. And I remember she was, I thought she was trying to manifest staying away from me, leaving, moving on. But of course, because who wants to sit and be really, really, really sad? It's almost like he's finally going, oh God, what else would you have done? She was heartbroken. If she was trying to move on from me, it's because she was devastated. But then in turn, I was devastated because she was trying to move on from me. Okay, so two people had something that was really good, and when it wasn't working out, and then it was like, well, I guess we got to go, then it becomes heartbreaking, and then that compounds the hurt. I will say this, maybe what should have happened is if two people are that unhappy about the state of a situation, maybe that's where they need to say, I'm so unhappy because I want this so bad. Are we going to try to fix things because I want to stay and fix it because I really want this to work? Or is it the thing where it's like, well, this isn't working, so I guess I got to go? That's the abandonment or the rejection. There are times to draw a line in the sand. If somebody's intentionally causing us grief and harm, yes, leave. Don't ever go back. But on the other hand, if this was a situation where maybe these two, I don't know if it was both of them. Let's ask about her. But I'm wondering if both of them perhaps had a moment in time where if they had both said, hey, we were happy and it was really good and I don't want that to go away, but right now that's not how it feels. I want to stay and get us back on track. Or do you want to work on stuff too? Because this is hurting my feelings and am I misunderstanding? Like, what's going on? I don't know if that happened. This says it should have with the Three of Pentacles sideways. Both people really wanted this. Then what happened? Why because I definitely see her leaving. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. Oh, I just got sat down by the universe, didn't it? This says, no, she was giving. She was a Queen of Pentacles. She was given everything she had. Why do we see him leaving? She left because he left while still saying, love you, and then turns their back. Now, a Knight of Pentacles, or excuse me, any of the Knights are action takers. So that's a Knight of Cups here. I have all these emotions. I don't know if he was playing hard to get. I don't know what that was. Oh, 5 of Wands sideways. He got squirrely. Well, you can't very well do that without expecting somebody to walk away. It says, look, I don't pick the cards. So this is the story we got. Please don't shoot the messenger on this one. It started out with him on the 8th saying, I was so mad at her for so long. I said she was mean. She wouldn't give it to me. They really hurt me. And I'm finally done saying that. And now I'm realizing the truth of it is she was giving to me. I loved her, but I still walked out the door. Kind of, I don't know if this was playing a game, but with the 5 of Wands sideways, there was a lot of indecisiveness all of a sudden. Hang on. Since it seems like you're getting real with yourself today, what's that? Emperor sideways. I don't know if I want to be married. So basically, you knew she was great. She was giving you the world. And so you said, this is like, I can see this getting serious. God, I don't know if I'm ready to be serious. I think I'll pull back. I think I might even leave. Not because I don't love her, but because I do. And then it says somewhere after you did that, then it says, that you caused her great grief. And then she went ahead and manifested moving on from you. And there is where you sat pissy at her. She's mean. She won't give to me. She's my karmic. Why do you think you can say that? Because that ain't true at all. And you know better. Queen of Cups. Give me another on that. King of Cups, Death card, because what I wanted, okay, I can't pretend like I understand this, but it's like what he thought was going to happen, what he thought should happen, or what he tried to set up happening. Oh, this is so hard for me to say because I'm just like, I'm out at this point. I'm sorry, and I'm going to be all sassy about it, and I'm trying not to be, but this says, he did this whole thing. Oh, she's given to me. It's really great. It seems like, wow, I think I'm going to walk away from her for a bit, because I think it's going to get really serious. And I don't really know, is this the one? Let me put her through some hoops and see if she comes charging after me, begs me, gives me her heart on a silver fucking platter. Sorry. So I can drink it up, yum yum, give her a smaller, less amount of my heart, but she's got to give me. I mean, look at the miss size. It's not just perspective. Huge heart, medium size heart, and glug glug. I get to drink up how much she loves me, and then we can start again, and I'll think about maybe having a much more serious connection. No. Sorry. I feel, when babies take their bowl of oatmeal or their cereal and they all of a sudden, because they don't have great control of their little stubby arms, and they like flip their little bowl up and they get oatmeal in their hair, or they, flip off their little Cheerios and they go all over with the milk and everything. That's what I feel like I just did in this. That's the equivalent, is the oatmeal toss that a baby does in their high chair. I'm so sorry that I am totally belligerent about this, but I don't like it. So disappointed. Okay, well, I'm not the only one. Only I will say that I wonder if the Queen of Pentacles is much more of a Queen of Swords and has much more dignity than oatmeal smashing baby Kate over here, because she seems to be saying, yeah, that's why I just kind of stepped on back. Even here, she got this casual, like, I'm just carrying my sword on the back of my shoulders, hanging my hands on it because there's nothing for me to say. If this Joker, who I was given my best to, heads for the door, then darling, peace out. I'm going to just keep on climbing up the ladder of life. I'm not spending a whole bunch of time trying to figure out why you did what you did. And I definitely don't have anything to say. You just took yourself out of the game. I'm not going to chase you around and try to keep you in the game here. So she did manifest moving on, but he's saying, well, it was because she was really sad. I kind of think you're a really big jerk right now about all of this, because it still seems like it's always been you. It's been manipulation. And you're saying she was really sad. I kind of think this story is kind of sad because this all feels like a game. And I'm not sure. Let me change decks here and say, if all this isn't a game, universe, you weigh in. Let's go with this deck. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit more blunt, and it'll make me zip it. Universe, what's the best takeaway from this? 5 of Cups sideways. The only person who made themselves sad was him by not knowing what he wanted to do. He holds a map and he stands here. He had the amazing castle mansion that he could have lived in, but he stood there instead and said, yeah, but I don't know. Do I want to go to the mansion? Gosh, I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry, that says it all. There wasn't really any reason to do all this. Ace of Coins, King of Coins. And I think as far as she's concerned, it's like, move along. It's sad that he didn't know if he wanted to be in the mansion with you. But move along, feminine, go meet a King of Pentacles who's ready to be a King of Pentacles to your Queen of Pentacles. And just let this one go. Move on. This isn't about them getting back together. Not today, not on the 8th. On the 8th, it's a day to let this one go and just keep on keeping on. If they have to sit and be sad over this now, or they've been sad or upset that she didn't chase them, and that's where their real wound came from, is how come when I ran away from her, she didn't chase me? They have a lot more to learn about. And that sideways, 5 of Cups just says, darling, yeah, they're sad about you, but you don't need to look back over your shoulder. Just keep moving forward. Let that be ever more reason to move forward and meet somebody that matches you as a King of Pentacles. I don't think there's anything about reversing the car and going back to this person who already had their shot with her and then played all these weird games. Sometimes it's good to be sad over the mistakes we make in life so that then we don't do that again. But it looks to me like just because they're unhappy, just because they've been sad, they did it to themselves, acting like they didn't know what they wanted. This amazing person's giving me the world, but I really want her to chase me and somehow give me more. It's not enough that she's a Queen of Pentacles wanting to build with me. She really should have to do this for me. chase me after I leave. In fact, let me just leave and see. Is she going to chase? Is she chasing yet? Is she bringing in her big, huge heart? If she does, then yum, yum, I'll gobble that up and I'll let her see some of my heart. Yeah. And then the death card, then that might change what I'm willing to give to her. But she's, got to be a good girl. Show me what you got. We could flip this. This could be masculine or feminine. This could be a feminine playing hard to get. Show me more that you want me. Do backflips. That wasn't enough. Do something bigger. Buy me big stuff. Chase me. I'll move to another state. Chase me there. Show up on my doorstep. Do something like they do in the movies. Stand outside my bedroom window with this big, huge boombox and just stand there for hours playing love songs into my window. I'm sorry, it's fine in movies. It's not fine in real life. I think I don't like it because it takes love that's a gift and turns it into this weird game of feed me more and I'll decide if you're worthy enough for me to give my attention to. That's the only reason I'm so vehemently against this story, is because I'm like, oh, no, no. So if they're sad over this now, because they're like, wow, wait a second, that wasn't the best way to act. And I finally am realizing that's good. That's growth, They may still have a lot of growth to do, but I just don't see this story saying, and then they can get back together. Not on the 8th. On the 8th, this one we let go. And I got to say, I'm totally in team let go of this one. Sorry, guys, if you're new to my channel, I am a fictional storyteller. I get very invested in my characters. I always want my characters, like if one's not being treated well, I can't help but speak up on behalf of the character that I feel like she deserves better treatment. I never like to see characters that are also missing out on great chances in their life. So forgive me that I do weigh in here and there, but that's what happens when you're the storyteller, is sometimes you weigh in if you're mouthy like I am. All right, and then let's take a look at the energy for the 9th tomorrow. All right, here we go. Energy for the 9th, we have an Ace of Cups. It could be a day of offering love. It could be a day of self-love. It could be a day of, a cup runneth over with love. It could be very nice. 6 of Pentacles, a lot of shared energy for sure. 2 characters that might actually be really enjoying one another's company. Okay. We have the World in the reverse. This could feel like a day that goes on and on and on. Now, if you're in my world, in my time zone, then, the 9th is Sunday. And Sundays are they're lovely days. They're they're just a different vibe on a Sunday to me. And I'm wondering if it's like a day where 2 people just don't want it to end. We got a 6 of Wands also. So the 9th could be really good. It could be soothing, satisfying, supportive. It could be a day where, whether this is about romance or whether this is about friends or family members spending time together, it's like, oh my gosh, this feels like we are like strengthening bonds. We're getting back anything that was maybe a little bit lost somewhere along the way as well. Really good energy between our characters here. 3 of Cups. It's definitely a day to socialize with people that we care a great deal about. I don't want to say that it's necessarily just a day for romance. It's a day for talking to the people that we care about, the people that bring, light into our lives. It could be a day to go a visiting, stop by, and even if it's real quick, to drop off, I made a batch of breakfast biscuits and drop it off to, our friend's house and be like, happy brunch. No, I'm not staying. I just wanted you to, I don't know, I'm just thinking of you and I made extra food today, so I'm dropping it off on your doorstep. Just those little crazy sweet, I'm picturing somebody who makes like a loaf, like a pumpkin loaf or, something seasonal, and like drops it off on somebody's doorstep. And it's just in time for brunch, or, no, I'm going to go meet up with other friends, but Nana, whatever, I wanted you to have, I baked this for you. It feels like it's a day to maybe flit around and spend time talking and connecting and bonding to people that bring good energy to us, and vice versa. We have the Sun sideways. It's definitely about how important it is that we lift each other. And how perfect, because we're talking about it being like Sunday and we have the Sun card. Strong Leo energy. I feel, because it's always about clarity and it's about joy, but it's about mutually like experiencing joy with people that we care about. Knight of Pentacles, like I said, I feel like the day is going to feel like it goes on and on. Like, wow, I had the most relaxed day. I had the most fulfilling day. I enjoyed like being present. I savored every little morsel of, I will say this is a day for people to see each other's faces, not be online for the connection. Like, this isn't about texting all day with somebody. Not like that can't be really fun, but this is definitely people spending time in each other's company. So, and that's just a specific message for the ninth. And it's not even about love and romance. Love and romance could blossom or could, strengthen a bond. But more than that, it's about how important human interaction actually is. I mean, we're in a world where it's more and more of the AI bullshit. It's more and more of this absolute trash that's ripping us apart instead of bringing us together. And I feel, and everything's getting faker instead of more real. And I feel like the only way to combat that is people. Stay connected to real people. Talk to real people. There's such a different vibration when you're around somebody else's heartbeat, when you're around their energy. You don't get that from the AI bullshit that's flooding everything, that's drowning out real creativity, that's destroying art for all of us because it's being processed through computers, and computers are not us. They'll never replace us. That's such a myth. So much trash. But sorry, that's just my opinion. What do I know? 5 of Cups in the reverse. The real remedy for sometimes feeling lonely is to be around people, friends, not just online, not reading other people's online quotes, but like spend time with another living organism that has a vibration that soothes us. Listen to the pitch of somebody's voices right there, and you really hear it coming into your ears. Smell what they smell like. Odorants are particles that bond to the actual nerve endings that go right into the central nervous system. Be around the person we can smell and experience and stand beside and feel their body warmth. All of that's very warm and very encouraging. I mean, I think this is such a much deeper message. It's like, they found that babies in NICUs do better when they're touched, even if they have to still be in, little baby isolation chambers for their health and, development. But still it's, from what I read, it's well documented that we know every creature needs puppies sleep together in little piles. Like they need each other's warmth, but they also like community. Animals show us all the time that they live in communities for the most part. There's not that many that totally live isolated. And I just think that this is that really strong vibe of, especially to lift spirits, be around people. And we have too much of this attitude of like, oh, people suck. No, a few people suck. Most people, pretty damn decent. Evidence of that is the world still turns. And you see it all the time. People are being kind to each other. People are helping each other out. People care. The majority of people as a whole are terrific. Certain individual people suck because they choose to. But people as a whole are pretty damn good. All right. That was like a really great message. I don't know if I delivered it very nice, but I really like what came out of that one. That was super special and super, just very uplifting, very encouraging. All right, don't forget, you guys, tonight I will be going live on both channels. It'll be late tonight, just so you guys know, but we'll be doing some card pulls for subscribers and members, so keep your notification bells on. Right now, let me get to a little birthday message for the 7th, and then we'll do it for the 8th and for the 9th. All right, birthday message for somebody whose birthday is the 7th. We have got a 3 of Pentacles. We got the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. We got the Page of Cups upright. 3 of Pentacles is community. 5 of Pentacles in the reverse is, and they're kind of in the same place. There could be like a religious spin to this. Does not have to be. To me, whatever you believe in, you never have to like follow a belief system to have a belief, if that makes sense. I say that because I'm that way. I don't have any particular religious belief system. I have my things. If I were going to say any philosophy that I think I could wholeheartedly get on board with, there's nothing that I disagree with in that poem, Desiderata. That's probably the philosophy that I would say fits closest to everything that I believe. And I believe some other things mixed in there too. But I think that is the best way to try to describe this. Is we have a character that might have a strong belief system, and it could be traditional religious view or something, more fringe or completely unique, as I'm kind of explaining my concept is. It doesn't matter. It's whatever makes you a better, kinder, happier person. Feels like this next year of a character's life is going to be filled with that. They're leaning more heavily into those belief systems, and it feels like somebody who has real conviction. It feels like their life's getting better for that. It also feels like it changes this next year of a character's life dramatically. This is like a little do-over for how their emotions feel. I think we have a character whose birthday is on the 7th, or was on the 7th, a belated happy birthday, who started to kind of like, I'll say, lean further into like a creed or a code that they live by. They might be finding more people that they, are realizing like, oh, there's like a commonality here. There's a shared humanity here. There's a shared perspective. And there's, the ability to give each other grace. This could be a relationship could come back around. And it's like, you know what, man, we've grown a lot. Even if we weren't good together at some point in time, we gave each other grace. We've healed. There could be a lot of forgiveness in this next year. And there could be a new beginning in a romance, but it could also be healing a lot of relationships with friends, family. It's a year of grace and a year of I want to say, leave no man or woman behind. This is a year where it's like, I'm not about severing connections so much as I am about like giving grace so that it doesn't have to be these sharp endings and, oh, I'll never speak to them again. This almost feels like a year of like, hey, we can't always be in each other's worlds. Sometimes we're going to be opposite ends of stuff, but I don't hate them, and I'm not going to cut anybody out permanently out of my life, even if I'm not around them all the time. And other people I'm going to welcome back in that I previously had conflicts with, depending on, as long as we share some core values of like, yeah, but we're not out trying to hurt each other or do each other dirty. Like, I think that's what this next year is going to be filled with. And I think it's going to be really healing for our character. Okay, let's take a look at whatever our message may be for someone whose birthday is on the 8th, which would be today. So a happy birthday for the 8th. Whoops, we need one more. I always like to do 3 because I always feel like that gives me a better ability to see a little story. We have a 3 of Wands sideways, a 2 of Pentacles upright, 8 of Pentacles upright. Something that has been wanted for a very long time is either appearing, or our character realizes that they've already become that. So this is about the present instead of looking toward the future. And this is telling us that we have a character who, okay, let me use this as an example. I was thinking that I had to, anytime you move into a new place, it's like, okay, I'm going to have to get some other piece of furniture to set this on. And then I was like, why? Why do I have to go get another piece of furniture? Why can't I rethink and shuffle stuff around? Why does that have to be in that room? Why don't I put it in the other room instead? And then voila, I already had what I needed. I didn't have to go. Well, I don't really go shopping for anything new. I love to do horse trading, and I love to do yard sales, and I love any chance I've got to swap stuff around, repurpose. If I need a table shorter, I'm going to lop those legs off instead of go buy a different table. Like it's way more fun to see what you could use. But once in a while you go, oh man, I got to figure out how to go get something else. And this is a character who's like, I don't have to go get something else. What if I'm already there? What if I realize I already have things that I just haven't tapped into for a while? This is about balancing things instead of changing things. And I feel like we have a character who isn't going to think, I have to still become more. I have to have these other huge plans in my life about what I'll eventually, achieve. This is a character saying, what if I've already achieved a ton? And what if right now the skills that I have are translatable? What if right now the items that I own are repurposable? What if I don't have to wait and save up money to go buy something else? What if I could rearrange and deal with what I've already got? And so it turns out what I was really doing, what took me the longest time, was to figure out how to use my incredibly brilliant brain to work with what I've already got. And I feel like this is the flood of like success because I think that this is somebody who is going to, number one, be great at probably, because it can be about finances. Number two, they don't feel like they're always running behind and waiting for the day that life gets good or the day that they have what they need. They're working with some talents and skills that they already possess, and they're reviving things or bringing stuff from the past they've had a long time and bringing it forward. I mean, this could be anything. This could be in our wardrobe. You put things together a little different, and guess what? It looks fresh and new, even if you've had it for 15 years. There's, or stuff that you've held on to came back in style. But it just says there's been stuff that's actually been working all this time in the background that's now coming front and center in this next year. So I think it's yielding like a more harmonious life, but also a character who doesn't have to wait to have satisfaction or wait to have success. Now, if this applies to things like relationships as well, there could have been a friendship that maybe for a long time there's been a little bit more than a friendship, but it just wasn't acknowledged until now. Maybe, we keep thinking we're waiting to meet the right person when we've already met them. We just didn't see them in that light. And that could be the big, like, oh my God, they're already here. It's nice to see, like, I already have some good things. Why was I thinking there's this, big delay and I can't have it yet, or I'm not good enough yet? This all says, no, I think our character gets to have a lot of good things and it's already time. Ken Ramey, spot on, dear. Spot on. That's your quote is perfect. That is desiderata. All right. So for the 9th, we have got, for our birthday on the 9th, we actually ended up with 4 cards and one I kept dropping, which is kind of funny. But we have the 5 of Swords sideways. That's a good thing to drop. Unfortunately, that's not the card that kept dropping. We have a 6 of Pentacles upright. We have the Temperance, and we have the 6 of Cups. Okay, actually, that's not too bad. There could be some fumbles, just a little bit, particularly in relationships for a character whose birthday is on the 9th. But all said and done, look, if we're going to make anything come into balance, it takes some effort, right? Think of frosting a cake. You start spreading the frosting and it's a big blob over here and you need to get it to be smooth over here, but then there's still a blob in the corner and you keep going over it. You don't say, well, I moved the knife over it once and shouldn't it be perfect? It's not perfect. If even frosting a cake takes several passes and if, sometimes wiping the knife clean and coming back in, and then sometimes, like changing the temperature on something so that it, and chill it. And, there's a lot of things that you can do and need to do just to get the top of a cake to look smooth. Why would we think that a relationship would somehow have to be easier than frosting a cake? Why would we think that getting something back on track with a relationship with 2 thinking, breathing human beings, multicellular organisms would somehow be less difficult than frosting a cake? It wouldn't be. So and I think that's what this says is like, especially if 2 people have had some conflict, have had some drama, have had even the villain in the top hat is usually like a third party that stirred stuff up. It makes sense that if there was big, hurdle in a relationship at one point, it would take some effort to get it smoothed out. So in this next year of life, though, it looks like the idea of having to smooth things out and maybe work at it a little bit to get 2 people back on track is actually something that makes a lot more sense. It's more peaceful, even though I kept dropping that card. It's like, yeah, we might try and then it doesn't go so good. And then we have to try a little bit more to like come back to the table and talk again. But it actually looks like in this next year, we have 2 people getting really on track. Now, this could be a parent and child that, get in a groove. They always say like certain years of people's lives, they just clash a lot. There's more conflict between, parents and teenagers, or, just maybe different phases in life. There's just a lot of clash. But this says we have characters really getting on track. This could be about romance as well. But if they went through a tough time where they were just not feeling heard or respected, that of course would make sense. Like 2 people have to like get to the point where they really understand each other better. And that takes a few tries. But this is the year that I think relationships just are stellar, that had been difficult, and they get so much smoother because, that put in a little bit of effort. All right, I'm going to leave all this here. Sorry, this one got really long. But after this, we will get to a collective, and then I'm going to get into zodiacs. And then late tonight, I will get to go live, and we'll do some card pulls for both channels. Okay, I'll be live for about like half hour, maybe 35, 40 minutes, somewhere in there. But it'll be late tonight. So, but I will see you guys then. Yeah, Ruben. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Annette Summersby, hi, honey. Sassy, delighted to see you. Karen Bishop. Ruva, hi, hun. Thanks again, Ken Ramey. Jag Singh, Mystical Glow Reiki, wonderful to see you. 11D8, Patricia Bocator. Hey, Wajuna Wild. I love that 11D8. Yes. The better AI is an artificial intelligence. It's authentic individuals. Yes. That is a beautiful way to say that. Couldn't agree with you more. Black Butterfly 25, Sarah J. Ken Ramey, thank you so much. He's so nice. Rachel's Magic. Robin G. Nice, Robin. I'll see you late tonight. San Juanita. Hey, J. Henry. Oh, Elizabeth Parker. Hi, sweetheart. Just so you know, you'll want to write compassion in the comment section, and that'll open up here in just a minute. I'm almost ready to bounce out of this live video, and then the comments will be open, and then you can type the word compassion there. And the only reason I ask you guys to do it in the comments is because I won't see this live again. And the only reason I don't go out of the live comments is because then it would only be open to people who were live with me. And I always want to try to like mix it up so people can watch this video anytime between now and next Monday, and they can still enter to win. Meanwhile, then like tonight when I'm going to go live, then it'll be live only. So it just gives people chances. If you can't be with me in a live, you have like, days to watch this video and you still have a shot. Or if you can be with me in a live, then that option is out there too. So I just try to do it that way. So it's as balanced as it can be so that everybody gets a little bit of a chance. Marikai Healing Arts. Oh, that's awesome. You're baking cinnamon apple loaves right now to deliver tomorrow. You angel. Oh my God, you're going to make people so happy tomorrow. That is so beautiful. So sweet. Patricia Bocator. Hey, Tina. I hear you. Tina, I'm sorry if it was bumpy then, hon. I hope it gets better and better. Linnea Nicole, hi. You guys crack me up. Ken, thank you. GOSC 10P, hi, sweetie. Hi, Hetty. Don Divine. Amen to that. Bullocks. Thank you so much. 11D8, you are too cute. Rachel's Magic, sending you and your kitty cat a little extra love. Your kitty passed away a few years ago and you still haven't replaced him. I totally understand. Totally understand. That takes some time, huh? I hope you keep healing, sweetheart. April Fresh, nice to see you. Oh, Rachel's Magic, that's so great, though. You get to go volunteer at a cat shelter today and play with the kittens. I bet their little heart is full, too. Oh, my gosh, you probably made those kittens so happy. Kittens in particular are hilarious, aren't they? Oh, my God, they're so mischievous. Sage and Stardust. My brother told me that Indiana, so, I got 3 kittens that were supposed to be for my mom for Mother's Day. And my brother took one look at them and literally he scooped them up and said, mine. And it was like a Gollum moment, his precious. My brother loves cats, and indeed they are some of the most adorable kittens ever. And so there are 3 of them. And Cleo, Fezzik, and Indiana. And Indiana was one that I was going to keep for myself and Aries didn't. It's not that Aries didn't want Indiana. Indiana didn't like Aries, this little teeny tiny ferocious little blob of kitten fur. Oh my God, was so mean to Aries, and Aries was so scared. And so I was like, I can't have Aries hiding on the other side of the house. while little teeny tiny kitten Fluff hisses at him. So indeed, Indiana ended up with my family as well. And it was cute though, because my brother told me on the phone this weekend that Indiana demanded to be held and take a nap in my brother's arms. And he said, and at one point he woke up, looked into my eyes, drew his claws across my brother's arm. He said, just enough to not make blood, but just enough to leave these little tiny marks and some of my flesh just hanging. And then he promptly went back to sleep. He said, and all I could think is it was the threat that you do know if you put me down, neither one of us is going to have a good evening. I just thought it was so funny that my brother was announcing that Indiana really does have some attitude. Aries isn't the only one who's afraid of him. Cats are so small. Dandelion girl, good to see you. Hi, Becky O. Ravi Paul, nice to see you, love. Hi, Selene. Annie S, good to see you. You know, I love this library backdrop too, but it's a little too small. And I still really wanted to use it. So I was like, well, let's get one of my other shelves out and just make it cute. So hi, G. Jeannie Vale, so nice to see you, sweetheart. Hi, Bridget. Deborah Aushar, Healing Journeys. Wonderful to catch you, love. And Hetty, awesome to see you, love. All right, you guys. And Violet, of course, you're first in the house, eating your salad tonight, it looks like. That's awesome. All right, you guys. I will see you again in a collective message, and then we'll get to Zodiacs, okay? And then late tonight, we'll go live. Garnet McLeary Price, shout out to you in London, my dear. That's half of my DNA comes from Bermondsey. So thank you. It gives me nice thoughts. I love London. Yes, Linda, so true. And Linda, I saw your comment and I did not know at first that the Old Farmer's Almanac is different than the Farmer's Almanac. And you said that the Farmer's Almanac has shut down after 208 years of being in print. And I was like, what? And I totally at first thought that Old Farmer's Almanac and the Farmer's Almanac were one and the same, but thank God they're not. So I always read up on the moons in the Old Farmer's Almanac, which that was started in like 1792 or something. And then by contrast, the Farmer's Almanac, the one that went out of business, was started in like the early 1800s or mid 1800s, somewhere in there. Anyway, I didn't know if there was actually a difference until you said that. And so I was like so relieved that that's not the case. You know, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I read that and that's super sad, but thank God that's not the one, because I thought the same thing. But yeah, I'm relieved that the Old Farmer's Almanac continues on its tradition since, you know, the 1700s. So, and I didn't actually know it had been around that long either. I'd never checked the dates. It's just what my mom always would read up on because she was always a gardener. And so that's why I've always, you know, read things about the Old Farmer's Almanac because of, you know, planting and seasons and, you know, the moon cycles and such. So anyway, but yeah, I know, me too, Linda. And I was so sharing in your emotions on that because I was like, no. But yeah. Anyway, at least we have a little bit of good news, right? All right, you guys. Ken, your youngest shelter cat, and have up to a dozen at a time of mice? Oh no, you can have up to a dozen at a time of shelter cats. Oh my God. Oh my God. You are so sweet. Yeah, you're too sweet. Someday I'll share some writing. Someday. I've said I would for many years. I just haven't. And one of these days though. All right, you guys. Lots of love. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye.